different characterization of Gabriel, because in most versions of the Bible, it's kind of like the happy, I bring you good news sort of guy, and then show he's completely different.
The Bible versus supernatural. Somebody's going to get a PhD in this. Part of my conversation with Jeremy, I said I started doing work, and I started, I've read some parts of the Bible at some points in my life, and I was going through that and looking online and doing my homework, so I was talking to Jeremy, and I said, so the Bible, blah 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 blah, and blah blah blah, chapter blah blah blah, he says blah blah blah. We don't so much follow the Bible. You can kind of toss that. So it's not so much as, I think they're using the Bible as a launch pad for these characters, but they're not adhering to that as any sort of we've got to be true to the Bible to be sure the story is told correctly, because it's fiction. And, I'm not into the Bible's fiction. I don't want to be that guy. Anyway, so I think it's just sort of a loose trampoline for them to spring off of. Sure. Hello.
Hello there. So, my roomies and I were discussing this earlier. We were talking about it. We're like, okay, so trickster, Archangel Gabriel, Loki? And when we were talking about it, is he actually Loki? Is he pretending to be Loki? Is there Loki chained up somewhere, and he's just filling in? What's up with that? What's your opinion?
That is an interesting question. I have absolutely none. I feel like the actual trickster is in some sort of angelic cave being held captive while I borrowed his form to go out and do my dirty work, because he certainly, a Loki, would have outed me. Like the real Loki would have gone, not the real guy. So I gotta believe, that the actual trickster is out there and trapped somehow or in a different form or something like that. That's my theory. What was your theory?
It got very, very philosophical.
Hold on. Somebody has a call. We'll wait. Did you guys...
There was the whole thing about, well, if there's a prayer being made and the person it's addressed to doesn't happen to be around and somebody else answers it, are you participating in the aspect of godhood? It got really deep there.
Yeah, it did. Someone over here thinks the Bible's fiction. I don't know. Coffee. Maybe some sort of blood spell thing. Hey, yeah, thank you. Hey, how are you? You put the mic up closer.
Okay, so in Hammer of the Gods, it brought together a whole bunch of pantheons of different gods and stuff. What was that like working on set with the different kind of people, never mind.
Oh, I get where you're going with this, yes. The Conference Room of Gods. I know there's a lot of Neil Gaiman fans in the room, probably, right? Anybody read American Gods? Actually, somebody at one of these conventions a year or so ago, or longer than that actually, gave me a copy of that book. So I read it at the time. And obviously, there's some inspiration from that book, some of those last chapters for this scene. I thought it was really cool. It was a great idea for an episode to sort of address other religions. It's hard to address all religions in 42 minutes of television when you're also trying to carry on a plot, but it was a very ambitious and I thought well-executed story. And it was really neat having the various cultures represented in the room. It was one of those things where, cut together, it looks awesome, and Reika's awesome, and it was just a really fun episode to shoot. But that actual conference room took 2 days to do. So the, impact of it wasn't really felt until we actually saw the cut, because, we were so much of just individual, it's so pieced together, the whole sequence. But I thought what they were going for was really ambitious. I thought it turned out really cool.
Thank you.
Sure thing. Thank you. Hello?
In next season, they're doing some history on the Campbells. Do you think it's possible they could bring you back to mess with the Campbells?
Well, anything's possible. I have no idea what their master plan is. I'm the last to know. I hope so, and I have a Facebook fan page, and on the fan page, people were talking back and forth about, Ben, the writer, said something at a news conference that made them think that the trickster or Gabriel would come back, and Richard, is it true? I have no idea. Unfortunately, I have no idea. You know, the thing about the show is, Dad is Dad. Not so much. I die here tonight, you can pretty much assume I won't be at the next convention, but Gabriel, you never know. So I mean, I guess they always leave that door open because they have the literary license to do so. But beyond that, I'm just not sure. I certainly hope so. Thank you. Hello.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good. I just wanted to know, being Trickster and playing all the tricks on the boys like we do and everything, and then going into Gabriel, the angel, how different is it playing the serious versus the funny?
You know, it is very different, and it was a really fun episode in changing channels to do that. And even in Hammer of the Gods, because I'm pretending to be the trickster at the beginning and coming in and out of it, I really enjoyed that process because you're, as an actor, you're getting to bounce from like two different characters, really, but on a dime. Like 1 second you're one guy and then you're switching to the other. And I found that really fun to do. I didn't find Gabriel to be totally without a sense of humor. Like, I don't think Gabriel's a total pill. You know, I mean, he still had some sense of humor about him and that kind of energy, which sort of lends itself to making the transition fairly smooth. But it was an interesting challenge to make that switch, and a fun one. I think that's what makes the characters interesting, if there's a clear-cut difference between Trickster and Gabriel.
We did very well.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Hi, I was a little disappointed when I saw you on Number Speak that you didn't get to sing. And since we heard you sing here, you have kind of a nice voice. So
That's a lie, and you know it.
So have you ever sung on screen?
No, I have never sung on screen. And in Memphis Beat, didn't Jason Lee the only one who sings on that show? I think he's the only one who does singing. America doesn't need me singing, I can tell you.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, very, very, very small pockets of America would tolerate it, but no, I didn't sing in that, and I have never done anything. I'm trying to make sure. I think in Band of Brothers we did a big group sing as we're marching around, but that wasn't me by myself. So, no, and God willing, let's keep it that way.
Okay. Well, maybe we'll get lucky and the supernatural bring you back to sing something.
But wouldn't that be a hoot? Boys would be worse than death. Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm doing very well.
I'm going to make you switch gears here for just a minute and go back.
Lay it on me.
A little bit. As you know, the comic book of Jericho is out. Have you seen yourself as Deputy Bill?
I haven't. Have you seen me as Deputy Bill?
Yes, I have.
Does it look like me?
Yes, it does.
Have I been working out?
You were looking right. Looking better than I've seen.
Oh, good. Good. I'll be absolutely sure to tell Bob that about 2 minutes after I walk off this stage.
He's a good man. I met him. April was a year ago when we did our little thing in Studio City.
Oh, right.
18 members.
That's awesome, yeah.
Gerald Crane was there, and I was in charge of that. But
Oh, good. Well done.
it was wonderful. But if by chance they ever make a movie, would you come back as Deputy Bill?
Yeah, I would love to do that. I mean, that was a great series to be part of. Jericho was a fun.
I love you as in Supernatural too, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. But no, Jericho was a blast. And I know that it has a strong fan base. I would love it if they could pull off the film. I know the longer time goes on, the more people go off into various projects. Skeet's doing Law and Order